And let's get straight to our big story. Drug users in downtown Portland are overdosing at an alarming rate, and many are dying. Here's a look at the latest data from Portland police on overdose deaths. Nearly 90 back in 2020. It jumped to 135 in 2021, then to 159 in all of 2022. But look at the number so far this year, 151 in less than 7 months. Police expect that number to be around 300 by year's end. Now, if that doesn't paint a grim enough picture for you, this next story will. Open-air drug use is common in parts of Portland, especially downtown. But what we don't see is the toll that overdoses are taking on our first responders and emergency resources. Portland Fire Station 1 downtown averaged 10 overdose calls every single day last month. And there doesn't appear to be an end to this devastating routine. Blair has our story.
It's an OD call. The crews have been running a lot of ODs.
It's 4 p.m. on a Monday.
All right, we're here. Let's do it.
Well, we're here for you.
On Northwest 5th and Davis, Portland firefighters help a man who likely overdosed from opioids.
So, do you know where you are right now?
Yes.
Where is that?
It's a heavy scene.
Is that a no, then? Do you not want to go to the hospital?
They see it daily.
You're in Dark City currently, right? It's hard to see people in that state.
Paramedic firefighter David Friedrichs has been with Portland Fire and Rescue for 13 years. The last 5, he's worked at Station 1 downtown, the busiest firehouse in the city, especially when it comes to overdoses.
At this point, it's kind of callous, but we just go on these calls and they've become routine, whereas it used to be kind of a big deal to go on an overdose.
Not anymore. In June alone, firefighters from Station 1 responded to 300 overdoses.
And this is just a 48-hour shift. In May, we had 33.
Would it be safe to say you respond to more overdoses than fires?
Yeah.
And that doesn't take us long to see.
Overdose. You want to go?
He laughs at just how hopeless it all feels. 2 other OD calls come in right after.
So yeah, that was what, 3 OD calls that happened in it dropped in what, 25 seconds?
We head to one under a bridge in southwest Portland.
Hit some bad confetti. He just fell out and he was gray. He was turning gray and his eyes was rolling back his head. And we just narcaned him and stuff. He came back.
By Fetty, she means fentanyl. Before we got there, the man was revived by Narcan, an opioid reversal medication.
It's very traumatizing, obviously, for her. I don't really know how I got here necessarily, other than my poor choices.
Like the man in Old Town, he didn't want to go to the hospital.
And I obviously made a mistake.
This wasn't his first overdose, but since he's alive and coherent, there's nothing else first responders can do. So everyone just moves on.
I just need to kind of reset back into reality here a little bit if I can.
Yeah.
Not long after that,
Well,
another OD call comes in.
The alleyway off of Pfizer.
all right, ambulance is with us.
And then another.
This is a fairly large camp area.
We head to one off Northwest NATO under the Steel Bridge in a notorious homeless camp called The Pit.
My friend just overdosed on fentanyl, and yeah, he literally died right here. It was purple. We had to give him CPR and Narcan him, and I literally had to breathe into him until I felt him come back to life.
I just need to answer 3 questions. How many quarters in a dollar?
1.
This man also refuses medical help, but since he answered their questions, the first responders move on.
We're okay. Thank you.
Yep.
He's been through this before. There's no need for him to go to the hospital when he's all right. You know, there's nothing they can do for him there that I can't do right here.
As you can see, it's rare for crews to show up to an overdose and Narcan hasn't already been given. Now they fear the accessibility of Narcan is giving drug users a false sense of security, and in some ways could be making this crisis worse, even though it saves lives.
Their heart stops working and everything shuts down, their brain stops working, and without Narcan, they'll die.
It's like watching a slow motion train wreck, like where you're not able to help stop the problem. And it just continues to happen again and again.
And each time they respond to what has become an endless, exhausting routine.
We're beating our head against the wall, and the numbers that we're dealing with are unsustainable.
Blair joins us now. So Blair, you were out with these firefighters. How long were you on this ride along?
We were out with the crews for 4 hours, Brittany, and as you saw in the piece, numerous times during our interview, we were interrupted because another OD call was coming in. And I can tell you, in that 4 hours, they didn't respond to a single fire. They responded to one assault, but most of the calls were OD calls. And when they do respond to fires, a majority of the time, they're homeless camp related.
And you could see it from the firefighters. I mean, this is just such a part of daily life. Mm-hmm. How frustrating that is to feel like there's really no solutions in sight. And when you see them go to these, there really isn't a solution here.
Right, and that's not a lack for them trying. They do offer people resources, try to help them get into treatment, but in that moment, a lot of times people who are overdosing, they don't want the help in that moment. You saw a lot of people are declining medical help, saying they don't want to go to the hospital. So this is just an exhausting, endless, ruthless routine, really.
It really is. And when you see them go there, a lot of times we saw in your story that the Narcan has already been administered. So by the time they get there, there's really nothing they can do, especially if they don't want to go to the hospital.
Right, and if someone, if the homeless person who overdosed has a friend that's willing to stay with them, they just leave them. I mean, they check on them, they ask them a series of questions, and that's about it. It's pretty sad to see.
Yeah, it's just, like you said, a relentless cycle, and our first responders are there on the forefront for it. So Blair, thank you so much. Such an important story. So what is going through your mind right now? What do you think needs to be done? Let us know. Well, you can email you at thestory@kgw.com, or you can call and leave a voicemail at 503-226-5090.